What's going on?
Okay, Carl.
What's going on?
Yo, bitch, I got beat up last night. It was crazy ass girl somebody. Looking for you.
I'm on probation.
Oh shit.
Mr. Whitner, try to mute your microphone and turn your camera off until the judge calls you. All right, good, thank you.
Mr. Whitner was about to confess to some other crimes. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Tammy Long Hayward. This is the jail calendar and the arraignment calendar for October 25th of 2022. This is courtroom 304. We have two calendars today, so I'm going to do the jail calendar first, and then I'm going to do the arraignment calendar for people who may be coming into the Zoom but aren't in jail. So we will handle those cases. First thing, Mr. Whitner, please mute your device again and keep it muted until I call on you. And if there's anyone else on the call, please make sure that you mute your device because the background noise makes it hard for us to hear. So the inmates are going to be in the courtroom today, which is going to be even harder to do because of the sound issues with respect to the recording equipment or the audio equipment in the courtroom. So please be mindful of that I need to have quiet on the call in order to hear everyone properly. First person on the calendar is Diamond Davenport. Diamond Davenport, this is on the jail calendar. I don't see Miss Davenport has an attorney. So once the attorneys are in the breakout room with the courtroom, then we'll check and see if Miss Davenport needs an attorney. The next person is Antonio Winston Jackson. Antonio Jackson. I do not see that Mr. Jackson has an attorney. When the attorneys are in the breakout room, they can check and see if he.
Your Honor, Mr. Jackson is represented by Lister Holt and Dennis. He would like to enter a negotiated guilty plea.
All right, that works. All right. Next on the calendar is Dexter Jackson. Dexter Bernard Jackson.
We need to, he's also represented by Lister Holt and Dennis, but we need to conference with this client. I haven't been able to meet with him.
All right. Antoine Jordan, Lister Holt and Dennis.
Well, Your Honor, I'll need to have a conference with Jordan.
Charles Wesley Kern, Manal Chamini.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm just starting my video. Manal Shahimi on behalf of Mr. Kern. He's present on the Zoom, Judge, and that case is ready for a plea for your consideration.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Travion Marquise Sheffield.
Good morning, Judge. That defendant was OTB on October 19th.
All right. David Gasly is handling that case, so that's no longer a Lister Holton Dennis case. Marcus Dewan Williams. Marcus Williams.
Your Honor, I just received an email this morning from the state saying that it's going to be transferred to the Superior Court.
Okay. All right, so I'm expecting that order this week. Brandy Michi Woods. Brandy Woods.
Your Honor, this is a Lister Holding Dennis client. I just got the recommendations this morning. I just need to communicate the recommendations. I need a conference. All
right, that is the jail inmate calendar. The arraignment calendar is Taretia Groves.
Good morning, Your Honor. That's me, Tarisha Groves.
Right, Tarisha Groves. Ms. Groves, you do not have an attorney representing you. I could appoint one to you, or you can speak directly with the state. I do know that the no license offense, if you do not have an if you're not eligible to enter a NOLO plea, if you've gotten your license and you currently have a license, then that may suspend your license unless you're eligible to enter a NOLO plea. If you speak with the state, they'll tell you whether you're eligible or not based on the records that they have. So you can tell me whether you wish to go forward with an attorney or do you want to represent yourself?
I want to represent myself.
All right, and are you over the age of 21?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right, so as soon as I finish calling the calendar, I'll put you in a breakout room with the state and we can talk about, you can talk about with them what they're recommending on this case, okay?
Okay, thank you. So do I stay on here?
Just mute your device until we call you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Omar Whitner, it's a probation case.
That's correct.
Mr. Whitner is present on the Zoom call.
I'm right here. Your Honor, how you doing today?
I'm fine,
admit
sir.
or stipulate to the facts and admit to the violation.
Okay. All right, Mr. Whitner, we'll be with you in a moment. And Primus Williams, that's also a petition. Primus Williams.
Yeah, and I believe that's a PIA. Yeah, it was a plea and abstention.
Oh, okay, it's closed. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I thought that was a thought it was a petition. All right, so
Your Honor, there's one more case.
oh, sorry, thank you. Theos Word.
Your Honor, I need to speak to the state before I announce my my plea.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. All right. And you need to speak with the state, Mr. Kamani?
That's right, Your Honor.
All right, so let's begin with the plea for Antonio Jackson. Then once Mr. Jackson is sent back, then we can start working on the other issues that we have. We'll do a lot of the private attorneys have individuals who've appeared by video, so we can have the breakout room for the courtroom with the Lister Holton Dennis clients, and then we can have the private attorneys working in the main room. Okay, so Deputy, can you bring out Antonio Jackson? I do know that there are two Jacksons, but I need Antonio.
Antonio, okay. Antonio Jackson? Okay.
Judge Hayward,
Yes.
I just wanted to let you know that on the arraignment calendar for Groves and for Word, they do have active bench warrants. So I guess if they close their case out, I guess we'll need a bench warrant recall, but I just wanted to let you know that.
Okay, I was thinking that for Word, because I remember he missed a calendar, at least one, maybe more than one. But yeah, so Groves and Word.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. All right. Mr. Groves, I'm sorry, Mr. Antonio Jackson, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down, sir. You're before the court on State of Georgia versus Antonio Winston Jackson, 2022 CR 05533. Your attorney is Mr. Taylor, and Mr. Taylor has indicated that you're entering a plea of guilty to criminal trespass. By entering the plea of guilty, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And Mr. Jackson, if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, ma'am. On October 3rd of 2022, officers with the Clayton County Police Department responded to 11616 Spring Lake Way regarding a trespass. Officers made contact with the owner of the property who advised that the offender, Mr. Antonio Jackson, had returned to the property after being told not to return. He had previously been given a warning not to return back to the property. Officers ultimately placed Mr. Jackson under arrest for criminal trespass. This all occurred here in Clayton County. The state's recommendations: 12 months to serve, 10 days. The balance is to be suspended upon him not returning to the property. 11616 Spring Lake Way, Fayetteville, Georgia, 30215.
Is it a commercial or residential property?
It's a residential property.
And Mr. Taylor, how is your client connected to this property?
He used to live.
That is where the father of his child's mother lived. The child's mother was living with her father, which is where Mr. Jackson was located when he was trespassed. There was some confusion he had about his permission or not to be there, but Mr. Jackson understands now that that place is not for him.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor.
How old are you, sir?
I'm 35 years old.
How old is your child?
I have two children. One October 4th turned 8, and my youngest is 7.
Okay. So, Mr. Jackson, let me just say a couple of things. If I know times have been hard and the pandemic and everything, but sir, you got to get on your feet so you can make a home for your children, not rely on their grandfather to make a home for all of y'all. You understand? Because adults can't, it's hard for adults to live in the same house. The person who owned the house, who paying the mortgage or the rent, that's the person in charge. I don't care how old you are. And so if you've been told not to go back to that location, then this gentleman means don't go back to that location. What you should be working on is trying to make sure that you can come out here and get some of these jobs that are available, because everybody's hiring, in order to make sure you can be a stable father for your children. You got a 7-year-old and an 8-year-old. You got a lot of time to impress them about how well you do the daddy thing. Right now, you're not doing so well with that. And I got a 9-year-old. I'm gonna tell you right now, they see everything. They know everything. They are smarter than you give them credit for, and they know you're not doing the best job you need to be doing. So get it together, sir. Now, unless there's a disability that I don't know about, then you need to be working on somebody's 2 or 3 jobs to make sure that you can provide for your children. And so they see that you're a hard working and you're doing something. Because that's the example they'll follow. I don't want, when I'm getting ready to retire from this job, I don't want to be thinking to myself, Antonio Jackson Jr., why do I know that name? And I'm just assuming, I'm not saying that that's your child's name, but I'm saying, don't let your child show up in front of me in an orange jumpsuit. Get it together.
Like that.
Okay, well, so I want you to think about that. Now, has Mr. Jackson served these 10 days, Mr. Taylor?
Yes, Your Honor. He's been in since the date of arrest, 10/3.
All right. So, Mr. Jackson, I'm going to sentence you to 12 months to serve 10 days, credit for time served, balance suspended as long as you do not go back to 11616 Spring Lake Way in Fayetteville, Georgia, Clayton County. And sir, get yourself together, because the mother of your child needs all the financial assistance she can get for the children that you all have. Or if you have multiple mothers, then they need financial assistance, because kids are expensive, and you spending time in jail and you spending time not working, that ain't helping nobody. All right, you can go back with the jail.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so that was the plea that we have ready. My understanding is I'm expecting transfer papers from Williams. And let me make sure I give you the correct name, because I believe there's 2 Williams on the calendar. Okay, so the jail, you can send back the case of Al Marcus Dewan Williams, because he's going to be transferred to Superior Court. Sheffield is OTB. And I'm sorry. Okay, so for Lister Holton Dennis, that leaves Davenport, Jackson, Dexter Jackson, Jordan, Woods. Okay, and is Whitner in jail or out of jail?
Whitner is out to bond.
I'm right here, man.
He was,
Okay, all
he's in
right.
the call.
So, and you've already spoken with Whitner. So when you come back out of the breakout room, we'll be ready to talk about Whitner and Word with Lister Holton Dennis. So I'm going to do the breakout rooms now. Lister Holton Dennis, Mr. Kamani, Mr. Taylor. I'm going to put you in breakout room number 2 with the jail. I'm sorry, I keep saying the jail, with the courtroom.
Can you, Your Honor, I just wanted to discuss Word's case with Mr. Brooks. Can I go speak to Mr. Brooks first before I go to the court?
I just chatted you. The rec is the same.
All right, so yeah, y'all chat, because I need to get moving on these other cases. Y'all get in that breakout room and get comfortable. So let me see. Courtroom, Mr. Kamani and Mr. Taylor. I'm gonna open that door. All right, thank you. And now the other cases on that calendar. And if you need to figure out something with the state, send them a chat. Or send them a email or text message. All right. Okay. On the other calendar. All right. So, Ms. Groves, just give me a moment before I put you in a breakout room with Mr. Brooks. Okay. On the Kern case.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. And Mr. Kern is on by video. Is that correct?
He is, Judge. I see he's waving at the court.
I see you, Mr. Kern. Okay, so this is the case 2020-CR07876, Charles Wesley Kern Jr. Mr. Kern is charged with driving under the influence, count 1, driving under the influence, count 2. Attorney, I'm gonna mess it up, Ms. Shahimi.
She, he, me, like the pronouns.
Shahimi. Okay, Miss Shahimi is with you on the call. Miss Shahimi, what is your client plead to the offenses before the court?
Judge, he's before the court to plead guilty to 1 count of DUI.
Okay, so there's a per se, I'm assuming, and a less safe. Which one is he pleading to? The other one should merge.
If no objection, we'll plead to the less safe, Judge.
Objection.
Okay.
It would have to be the per se and merge, and then the less safe merge.
I'm just
Okay,
looking, Judge.
I just need to know which number is which.
Let's count 2.
That's fine, Your Honor. I don't have any specific email with the previous prosecutor I was negotiating with on which count. That's fine with us, Judge.
Okay, I think the rec is gonna be the same. So, Mr. Kern, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. So, sir, you're before the court on driving under the influence counts 1 and 2. You're entering a plea of guilty to count 2, DUI per se. Count 1 will merge. By doing so, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, Mr. Kern?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Your Honor, on July the 29th, 2020, officers with the Clayton County Sheriff's Department responded to commercial business on Riverdale Road regarding a accident. Officers made contact with both drivers of, or excuse me, made contact with one of the drivers of the accident, Ms. Linda Jones, who advised that the other driver was attempting to leave. Officers was able to find the other driver, Mr. Charles Kern, and did make observations of him as he walked. He was walking off balance, spoke with a slur, and officers did smell alcohol about his breath. They inquired as to whether or not he had been drinking. He advised he had a couple. Officers conducted standardized field sobriety evaluations and did observe other indicators of impairment. Officers also performed a DBT, which returned a positive reading of alcohol. Officers ultimately placed Mr. Kern under arrest, read him implied consent, asked for a sample of his blood, which returned a BAC of 0.277. This all occurred here within Clayton County. State's recommendation to count 2, 12 months to serve 24 hours, to which he would be credited the time he served, 40 hours of community service. Drug and alcohol evaluation and treatment should be necessary to complete a risk reduction program. Submit to random testing at $500 fine and partake in no drugs and alcohol during the course of probation.
All right. So, Mr. Kern, 0.27, you pickling yourself, sir. You had an accident, which means that you're not safe on the roads. One move to the left or to the right, you could have killed yourself or you could have killed somebody else. Do you have children?
Yes, ma'am. She's 28 and lives in California.
Okay, well, do you have to fly all the way across the country to identify your body or to sit through a trial for a vehicular homicide because you killed somebody?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then. Mr. Kern, driving under the influence is so unnecessary, especially nowadays when we got Uber, we got Lyft, we got they got an app for that. But the whole point is it is selfish because you don't want somebody in a uniform stepping up on somebody's porch. They open the door expecting to see their loved one and they got somebody telling them, sorry, they're never, ever coming home again. Now, if you want to pickle yourself in your house, and you don't leave, that's fine. You do that after this 12 months. But
I've been sober for 27 months.
That's right, Judge. And Your Honor, I would, if I may, I know Mr. Kern definitely wants to address the court himself, but I would like to speak a little bit on his behalf, Judge, so that you are aware that the actions from July of 2020 are from July 2020. Since this incident, Mr. Kearns has completely turned his life around, Judge. He went into inpatient rehab immediately, almost following the incident. He completed with Blue Ridge Mountain Recovery Center inpatient treatment and has consistently maintained outpatient treatment and did through with Georgia Recovery Centers for quite some time. And I have all those treatment records from Georgia Recovery that he will happily provide to probation. This is definitely one of those situations, Judge, where we had a man who was on the brink of death and has completely turned and changed his entire life around and taken this matter very, very seriously. He unfortunately just laid his mom to rest about 3 weeks ago, right, Charles? And came back to Georgia. And I don't think he would have survived that, honestly, if he wasn't sober.
All right, so Mr. Kearns, I'm gonna stop fussing at you and tell you that I applaud you being forward thinking and taking these steps, because a lot of times people don't acknowledge that they have a and they won't take the steps. So you're taking the steps. Are you involved in a 12-step program?
Yes, ma'am. I go at least 3 times a week and have a sponsor.
Good, because
And
at some point,
I've completed the 12 steps. I'm in the 12 steps now.
okay, because I'm glad to hear that, and this is why. Because you took steps to do what's necessary to turn your life around, and you have a sponsor. One day you're gonna be a sponsor, and you're gonna help somebody else turn their life around.
I'm already a sponsor.
See, there you go. There you go. You're already helping somebody else not make the mistake that you made, or to change their life around after making that mistake. And that's why I really kind of push 12-step programs, not because I know their methods or I've been through it, but because I know people who go through it are doing so because they have experienced it. And nobody can tell somebody how to walk a path except somebody who has already walked that path. Nobody can pick you up when you're down and put you back on the path like somebody who's fallen down and gotten back on that path. And so, Mr. Kern, I applaud you for taking those steps. Get this stuff done. You're going to be on probation. The quickest way to mess up is to not report for probation. But make sure you keep in touch with your probation officers. If something is difficult to complete from my sentence, then make sure you tell your probation officer that, because the people who work in our probation office, they are really good at helping you to successfully complete. They don't make it hard for you. And so if you mess up, they will go to bat for you. You understand? But you gotta make sure you report, okay? Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, for the record, he's actually completed all conditions as negotiated, and he completed them well in advance of any negotiation. He completed the risk reduction class, obviously the alcohol and drug evaluation, plus any recommended treatment. He's completed over 240 hours of community service just on his own accord. He's also completed he satisfied all jail time that would have been which there wasn't any added on here. The only thing I heard from the state was the fine. Is my negotiations with the prosecutor, I apologize, I forget her name. I think it was Miss Butler, that it was a $300 fine. I believe the state had said 500.
Yeah, 500 is the usual one. Mr. Brooks, you have a thought on that?
Yeah, my notes has 5.
If I may just look through my email real quick, Judge, again, I just want to make sure, because Mr.
I'll work that out.
Has spent quite a lot of money on his treatment.
Yeah, it's expensive.
And so I would like to afford him any and all opportunity, but if the court wishes to impose the 500, then that's what we will take. We'll consent to that. I'm looking for my email. Your Honor, I apologize. I'm just looking through my email. I don't know if it was verbal or what. I have my emails with Miss Baker regarding the scheduling, but nothing regarding the actual thing. So all I have is what I just wrote in my notes and what I relayed to Mr. Kearns. So Mr. Kearns, the plea will be for the, do you have any issue with the $500 fine as opposed to 300, which is what I had previously told you?
Okay, so, sir, the fine is gonna be $500, $737.50 with the surcharges, but, you'll have the 12 months to do it. Just make sure you give all of the proof of having completed the substance abuse, the risk reduction class, all of that to your probation officer. And also you'll still be subject to random screens for alcohol and drugs, and you're not to have any, of course, you know that. And, Mr. Brooks, anything else? Oh, Mr. Brooks, you're muted.
I'm sorry, and I was saying I didn't hear the 40 hours community service.
I have that. 40 hours of community service, substance abuse evaluation, any treatment is necessary, risk reduction, random screens, no alcohol or illicit drugs. And then this is 24 hours credit for time served.
And Your Honor, we are asking for an affidavit of first conviction. Mr. Kearns
That's
does
fine.
apply for that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine.
How much is the fine?
It's $500, the base fine, but then the state adds on to our base fine. The $500 is statutory, so it's in the statute, is my understanding. And I could be wrong because I memorized so much of the numbers, but that's the standard recommendation for first and five. But it's $737.50 with the surcharges. So you'll have the full 12 months as you need it to pay it off. You can pay it off quicker than that, that's fine. But that's the fine on here. So I'll put you in a breakout room with Mrs. Thomas. Now, Mrs. Thomas is our probation expert. She's going to answer any questions that you might have about probation. She's going to get you signed up for probation and get you assigned to a probation officer. And then from there, you'll work with the probation officer to successfully complete the remainder of your conditions. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Mr. Kern, I appreciate you. Keep collecting those coins. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. I plan on it.
All right. Take care. So once you go into the breakout room with Mrs. Thomas, after you speak with her, you do not have to come back to the main room.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Your Honor, may I be put in the breakout room with them too?
If you wish.
And then if I may be excused afterwards as well.
That's fine. Once you all have completed the breakout room, then that's fine.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let me find you. There we go. All right. Next is Groves. No, I'm sorry. Hold on, Miss Groves, because I need to get one more person taken care of. Is there somebody else who has a private attorney who needs to? I'm trying to get you taken care of so we can get you out of here into the next court. Okay, so I guess it was Miss Shahimi. All right, so Miss Groves, I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Mr. Brooks and Miss Janvier. They're going to talk to you about your case. And once you finish speaking with them, then you all can come back and make an announcement. Y'all will be in breakout room number 1.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Brooks?
On Ms. Grove's case, she advised that she needs to contact DMV in New York as well as Georgia, and would like an opportunity to be reset to the next available court date, if that is at all possible.
Ms. Val, what's the next available court date for a possible plea?
How many weeks does she need? Because we can preferably do it again on a Tuesday.
Just a matter of days, I believe. Is that right, Ms. Groves?
Yes, sir. I'll start calling as soon as this is over.
Okay, so you want to set it next Tuesday, Judge? The first?
Give us 2 Tuesdays, Ms. Val, because it's New York.
Okay.
It's New York City.
Okay, so let's put it on the 8th, November 8th.
Yeah, I was born in Brooklyn. I know how things move. They move fast but slow.
Yeah.
So Ms. Lowe will be November 8th, and it will be the same log on, just like you logged on at 10 a.m. today with the meeting ID and the passcode. It would be the same, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Groves, thank you.
She has a bench warrant as well.
Yeah, can we set that aside?
Yeah, I am prepping an order now.
All right, so Ms. Groves, what'll happen is they're gonna send me a bench warrant. I'll sign that today. It'll be filed with the clerk, and so you should be okay.
Oh, Jesus. Thank you. Okay. Man, listen, I've never been in trouble a day in my life. This is scaring me to death.
I know, but Ms. Groves, pass this on to people, because this is usually what happens to folk. They get a citation, and as we do, we throw it somewhere in the glove compartment, or we put it somewhere where we lose track of it. We got supercomputers in our hands and we don't use them. The best thing to do is take a picture, keep a note of it, and then calendar the date before you leave wherever you got the ticket. You sit there, you calendar the date, and give yourself at least 2 weeks notice. That way, if you need to take off time from your job, anything, so you don't miss a court date. Because so often, people will just think, oh, I'm gonna remember, and they don't. So just spread the word.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so you're free to go at this time. You'll be back on November 8th at 10 a.m. And like Ms. Val said, same login, okay? And good luck with getting whatever you need from New York City. Start with them first.
Thanks. All right, thank you. Have a great day, guys.
You too. All right, so so we were just waiting on L&H, on Whitner, Word, Woods, Jordan, Jackson, D, and possibly Davenport. Davenport may also want to talk to the state directly. Okay, Mr. Word and Mr. Whitner, just hang in. The attorneys are in the breakout room because they have to talk to the inmates first, so that those individuals can get sent back if necessary. And then they'll come out and speak with you, okay? All right, I think Mr. Kern's stuck in the breakout room.
Is Mr. Brooks available to break out? Or John V.A.? I guess I assumed.
Okay, can you just send him a message?
He is not responding to text or call.
Because he was in a breakout room initially with Miss Groves. He's back, I think. Hold on.
He'll be just a minute, Judge.
All right, no problem, Miss Janvier. So I'll set up the breakout room, but a lot of this stuff could be handled prior to the calendar. All right, so do both of y'all need to speak with Mr. Brooks?
Yes, Your Honor. If you do. Your Honor, the problem is we were not aware who was handling the calendar, so.
All right, well, Mr. Brooks and Miss John VA are available to go into breakout room number 1.
Your Honor, could you put me back with the courtroom? I just need to go over one thing with Ms. Davenport.
All right, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you.
All right, the courtroom is in breakout room number 2. You all can go in and Mr. Taylor can speak with his client.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
On that terminal, just like we do when we have first appearance.
Your Honor,
Yes, Mr. Kamani,
I have announcements for the jail calendar.
and I'm excited to hear them.
For Jordan, count 1 will merge. Count 2, he wants to plead guilty.
Okay,
Woods, no license. She wants to plead guilty.
okay.
So those are the 2 cases that I have on the, and I have another case on the criminal arraignment calendar with Word. Can I just speak to him?
Okay, I'm gonna put you in a breakout room with Mr. Word. Mr. Kamani, did anybody talk to Ms. Davenport, or is that, did she not want counsel?
Mr. Taylor spoke to Davenport.
Okay, so I'm gonna put you in a breakout room with Mr. Word. Breakout room number 3. Mr. Kamani, I'm gonna put you in breakout room number 3. And once you all have finished speaking, then we'll go ahead and address that case. All right, Mr. Taylor, you have announcements?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Diamond Davenport would like to enter a negotiated guilty plea.
All right,
Same announcement, Mr. Dexter Jackson.
okay. And you have Whitner, which is a stip and agree, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, can you bring Davenport, please?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm bringing her right up.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Davenport, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can put your hand down. You're before the court on 2022 CR 05530, State of Georgia versus Diamond Davenport for disorderly conduct. You've spoken with Mr. Taylor, and he has informed the court that you wish to enter a plea of guilty to the disorderly conduct. By doing so, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
I do, yes, Your Honor.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, ma'am. On September 30th, 2022, officers with Clayton County Police Department responded to the incident location at 776 Autumn Ridge Way, Riverdale, Georgia, regarding a disturbance. Officers made contact with a complainant who advised that the defendant, Ms. Davenport, was yelling, screaming, and knocking on her door. She also blocked her driveway with her car. The officers did make contact with Ms. Davenport, did notice that she appeared to be intoxicated, but did not detect any odors of alcohol or beverage. Officers ultimately placed her under arrest for disorderly conduct. State's recommendation, 12 months to serve, 15 days. She is to be banished from the state of Georgia, all but Monroe County. It's my understanding that Ms. Davenport is from Louisiana and intends to go back within the next 24 hours.
I I ain't had a
We
good
used
banishment
to
in a
do
while,
banishment,
Mr.
right? We
Brooks.
used to do banishment a lot, but
I know. This is my first banishment in a long time. I think
And
I've been on the bench 10 years, and I think this only my second banishment.
we
we
used to
we used to
do it
we used to
frequently,
banish
but
people left and right in Dalton.
The younger attorney, Miss Janvier, you getting a banishment early in your career. That don't happen. Miss Davenport, ma'am, you're from Louisiana, and let me just say, you can get into trouble anywhere. Georgia, Louisiana, if you was just to stay in the county of Monroe, you could get into trouble. It's not where you are, it's what you do and how you interact with people. So I'm gonna need you to get it together, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm going to send you to 12 months to serve 15 days. How much of that has will she receive credit for?
I believe she has been in since September 30.
that's correct.
All right. So credit for time served. Balance will be suspended as long as you do not set foot in any county in Georgia except Monroe County. So you are banished from the state of Georgia with the exception of Monroe County, and you will have the opportunity to travel through the counties to get to Louisiana, but that will only last for 1 month. After that, if you are not in Monroe County, you will be subject to being jailed. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, just in case you felt like, you tell everybody you're going back to Louisiana, but you're not, I'm gonna give you a month to work that out. You coming out of jail, it may be a money issue or what, you got to get in touch with your people or whatever. But after that, if you anywhere except Monroe County in the state of Georgia, then you subject to going back to jail. We clear?
Crystal. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, thank you. You can go back with the sheriff's office.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, Dexter Jackson, please. Oh, banishment. Raise your right. Oh, he's not done yet.
It's funny about the banishment. Usually Clayton County is the one place you're not banished from.
Yeah, that used to be the case, but now we're on the come up. Nobody's banishing folk to Clayton anymore. All right, Mr. Jackson, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
You can put your hand down. So you are Mr. Dexter Bernard Jackson, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You're before the court on 2022 CR 05534 for disorderly conduct. You're represented by Attorney Taylor. He has indicated you wish to enter a plea of guilty to that offense. By doing so, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt with beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. On October 7, 2022, officers with the Clayton County Police Department responded to Southern Regional Medical Center regarding the disturbance. Officers made contact with personnel at the hospital who advised that the defendant, Mr. Jackson, was cursing folks out, as well as kicking trash can garbage bins around in the hospital. Ultimately, officers placed Mr. Jackson under arrest for disorderly conduct. This all occurred here in Clayton County. The state's recommendation is 12 months to serve 10 days. The balance is to be suspended upon him having no new violation of Georgia law.
All right, Mr. Jackson,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
what causing you to act up at the hospital?
Because I'm diagnosed with a mental illness, and like I was telling my attorney, I need for you to write me a letter stating that I can go to mental health treatment at Grady, because they said I need a letter from the judge.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. So sir, I'm going to accept your, Mr. Taylor, you don't have, because I get that he's understanding what's going on. Do you have any concerns about his competency to enter into this plea?
No, Your Honor, he understands the roles of the courtroom actors and has been able to assist in his defense.
Sounds
To my
right.
understanding.
All right, so Mr. Jackson, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send you to 12 months to serve 10 days. Did he serve the 10 days?
He has you.
Credit for time served. Balance will be suspended as long as you have no new violations of the state of Georgia. You have requested, Ms. Brenda, you can put this in there. You have requested that the court allow you to attend mental health treatment at Grady Hospital. The court is going to order.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. This is what it needs to, this is what the order needs to say. It needs to say Dexter Jackson is court ordered to attend mental health groups at Grady 10 Park Place for eternity.
Okay, Mr. Dexter Jackson is ordered to attend mental health groups at Grady Hospital and any other mental health treatment as ordered by Grady Health Centers.
Eternity, for eternity.
I can only do it for a 12-month period of time, Mr.
Okay,
That's all I got.
12 months is fine.
Okay, thank you.
Can I have copies of the papers to make sure it's right?
When you get when they release you from the jail, they'll give you your paperwork, okay? But it's gonna be in there. Miss Brenda is excellent at what she does.
Can you tell me what she typed up?
She's typing up exactly what we said.
Can you tell me what she typed up?
Miss Brenda, can you read that back to me, please?
Defendant is ordered to attend mental health groups at Grady Hospital or any other mental hospital.
There you go.
I can't. Do I have any warrants for my arrest?
No, I don't think so, sir. I don't know for sure, but they're gonna check before you leave the jail. I don't have any indication that you have anything that's gonna keep you from leaving.
Okay, I have one question. Okay,
yes.
I missed court in Fulton County because I was locked up. How do I resolve that? Do I just need to get proof of incarceration?
Listen, they'll check they'll check the computer system. If Grady is missing you, they will have already let the jail know, okay?
Yeah, I missed court when I was in jail.
Okay, but somebody probably let them know you were in jail.
No, because I still have a hold on me.
Okay, well, they'll let you know, and if you got to go to Fulton, they'll transport you.
And all I need to do is give proof of incarceration, right?
Yes.
And they'll let me go.
And in fact, the paperwork that you get will show that you were incarcerated.
Okay, so all I need to do is show them that I got locked up on October 7th, and they should, because this has happened before. And last time they took the hold off me because I was locked up when I missed court.
Okay, well, the paperwork will say when you were in.
I'm trying to figure out how come they didn't come get me from court when I was locked up.
Look, I don't know, because that's part of what the sheriff does. That's not what I do.
Okay, so can I have my paperwork about mental health treatment?
Yeah, they're going to give you your paperwork.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Go on back with the sheriff's office and make sure you attend those programs at Grady, okay?
All right, bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Can I have Jordan? Can I have Whitner, please? Oh, I'm sorry, Whitner's online. Can I have Jordan, please?
Jordan?
Yes. All right, if you can advocate for yourself, I am fully on board with that. All right, Mr. Jordan, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
You can put your hand down. So, Mr. Jordan, you're before the court on 2019 CR 07639 for Antoine Jordan. You're before the court for 2 counts of DUI, 1 count. First count is less safe. The second count is per se. You're represented by attorney Kamani. Mr. Kamani has indicated that you wish to enter a guilty plea to the per se, and the less safe will merge. By doing so, sir, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
Factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, ma'am. On incident day, July 24th, 2019, officers with the Clayton County Police Department responded to Clark Club Drive and Battle Creek Road regarding a traffic pullover. Officers encountered Mr. Jordan did smell an odor of an alcoholic beverage emitting from his person, and began a DUI investigation. Officers did ask him if he participated in field sobriety evaluations, to which he did. And officers did observe certain indicators of impairment. After officers concluded the investigation, officers read implied consent, requested a sample of Mr. Jordan's blood, which he did consent. And BAC returned a reading of 0.12. This all occurred here in Clayton County. The state's recommendation is 12 months to serve 24 hours. He needs to get a drug and alcohol evaluation, and treatment should be necessary. Partaking no drugs and alcohol during the course of probation, submit to random screens, complete 40 hours of community service, as well as complete a risk reduction program. Statutorily, he's also required to pay a fine in the amount of $300.
All right. Mr. Kamani, anything on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, he's been in custody since October 6th, so he's already, so you should get credit for time served.
All right. Is he working? Is he going to be able to pay this fine, or I'm gonna just need to give him time to work that out?
Your Honor, you have to give him time.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Jordan, how old are you, sir?
I'm 37, ma'am.
Okay. So, Mr. Jordan, you trying to kill somebody?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then, well, when you are careless enough to drink and drive to the point of impairment, then you just really trying to kill somebody because you don't care whether somebody else makes it home. That's not your thought process.
Yes, ma'am.
You just decided you just gonna get out there on the street and do what you do.
No, ma'am. I was actually at home when I was drinking, man. It was a call, which, the police came to my address, and it was 7311 Howard Place, zip code, 30274, as a burglary call. The officer put me at gunpoint and made me move off my property. As soon as I moved off my property, he arrested me. Sure enough, I was drinking, sitting on my front porch. And that's how the DUI came about.
And he forced you into a car.
He forced me into my Dodge Ram truck, which was a white 1999 Dodge Ram 1500. He forced me in my truck by gunpoint, saying it was a burglary call. Yes, I was kind of hostile towards that officer because I'm telling him to get off my property.
Okay, so Mr. Jordan, I'm gonna advise you when you finish with this to go over and to the police office, whatever law enforcement agency that was, and file a complaint, because it sounds like you got a complaint that needs to be filed.
Which I do. And doing like, I actually don't know how I missed this court date, but somehow I missed it. But I've been coming to court faithful. I also have courts and Judge Matt courtroom. These cases been rolling for over 3.5, 4 years now.
Okay, well, Judge, trust me, Judge Mack is up and running, so he'll see you soon. I'm going to accept your plea. I'll send you to 12 months to serve 24 hours. Balance will be probated for you to take a substance abuse evaluation and any treatment that may be necessary. You're to take a risk reduction course, and you're to have no alcohol or drugs during the course of your probation. So for the next 12 months, no alcohol, no drugs. You're subject to random screens for alcohol and drugs, and you'll pay a fine in the amount of $300. That's going to be $444 with the surcharges. So sir, I'm gonna put you in a breakout room with Mrs. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas is the, yes, sir.
I speak one more, sorry for cutting y'all, but I've been here I've been arrested since the 6th. The 6th of October.
I gave you credit.
Oh, credit for time, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
All right, so now I'm gonna put you in a breakout room with Mrs. Thomas. She's gonna do your probation intake. She's also gonna answer any questions that you might have about probation. Do you understand?
Yes, and I have one more, yes, ma'am. And I have one more question, like, just to put out there, like, during my prior arrest, I lost my house, I lost my place to stay, my car, and I also lost my job within these 25 days, ma'am.
Well, I'm sorry for that, sir. I hope you'll be able to rebuild, but I'm gonna put you in the breakout room with Mrs. Thomas. The quickest way to get rearrested is to not report for probation. So please make sure you report. You understand?
Yes, ma'am. I don't stay in Clayton County no more. I stay in Fulton County now.
Okay, well, let your probation officer know that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, and the last case on that calendar is Woods. You can go back with the sheriff's office, sir.
Your Honor. Your Honor. Is it possible I can be placed in another breakout room with the courtroom, because Mr. Kern is still in breakout room 6?
Okay, does he not know how to leave?
I'm not sure. I can just see where he was sitting, but I don't see him there. So I think maybe he left the computer on and left.
Okay, I'll fix it. I'll fix Mr. Kern issue.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I think I can do that. All right. I thought I moved him. Yeah, I did. You good? Okay, good. He's out. All right. So once the courtroom comes back, I'll do Wood. Let's do Whitner now while we're waiting.
How you doing, Your Honor?
All right, Mr. Whitner. Let me pull up your petition. All right, this is State of Georgia versus Omar Whitner. Mr. Whitner, you're before the court on 2021 CR 01847. You were before this court on battery, family violence, and obstructing an officer on the 24th day of March 2022, and you were sentenced to 12 months on probation. The sentence was not told, but you have 4 months and 28 days remaining. Says that you failed to report on, and you were reporting by phone, you failed to report on May 2nd, July 2nd, August 2nd, and September 24th, and October 7th of 2022. You last reported in person on October 13th of 2022. You failed to provide proof of having taken the 24 sessions of counseling for the family violence intervention program. You provided at the date of this this petition, you provided 3 of 24 sessions. You failed to enroll in a GED program, and you failed to pay. Mr. Taylor, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Tell me what's going on with Mr. Whitner.
So Mr. Whitner is working part-time at Red Lobster and part-time at a moving company called All Still Pickup. As you can kind of see from the numbers of that petition, he's trying his very best to make it to these classes. He tells me that he's called probation several times and left voice messages. We don't have the records for that. But as far as the classes and the GED, he just needs more time to gather that money to be able to attend the GED and provide proof of attending these classes. In speaking with Mr. Austin from probation, we decided it might be for the best to ask to waive the probation fees so he can focus his time and resources on attending the GED classes and staying on track with the family violence intervention program classes.
Mr. Taylor, I know you mean well, but he's got 4 months and 28 days, 5 months. He's done 3 classes. He's got 24 of them left to
Your Honor,
Yes.
I ain't do 3 classes. I really did 5 in total. But Mr. Vince, my teacher, Mr. Vince, he was like, I had missed a Thursday class. Mr. Vince said that day did not count. So I had to he said I restarted. So I really did 5 classes in total. And my living situation, I don't got nowhere to stay right now. I'm by myself.
How old are you, Mr. Whitner?
It's a lot. I'm 21 years old.
Okay. So tell me what's going on. Did you finish school? Did you finish high school? Obviously
No,
not,
ma'am.
because I got you in a GED program.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I'm not doing that. The classes that you're giving me, I love the classes that you're giving me. It's teaching me a lot. My anger is coming down. Everything is doing great right now. This levitation must eat me up right now. That's it.
Where you living?
And I'm staying at the hotel. I was staying at the hotel. I ran out of money, so I'm house hopping around. It's kind of hard for me, to be honest. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Okay, so you working a part-time at Red Lobster?
Yeah, I'm trying to work a full time, but they said to me I'm a cook, but now they had changed me to a server. So now I'm a server doing part-time serving. But they already got a lot of people going on. So I'm trying to find me another job. And I got to
Where you live? Where are you now?
Well, right now I just asked my friend, can I spend the night at their house for a couple of days?
No,
And I
what
find
city?
somewhere to go.
What place?
I'm in Forest Park. Not Fortel Boulevard. I'm on Fortel
Because
Boulevard.
there's a manufacturing firm company over here off of Noah's Ark Road, right off of South Main and Noah's Ark Road, and they're looking for every kind of person to do a ton of different manufacturing jobs. They do cement formation. So like when you see an overpass or you see cement forms in a parking lot or things like that, they're looking for people to work, and they're looking for full-time people. So like I said, the company is at Noah's Ark and
Yeah, I thank you so much for putting me in the classes. I really love the class. I love my teacher teaching me how to teach me a lot of things I don't even know about.
Got you. Okay,
Thank you so much.
there's a company called Course Lab. Write this down. CORESLAB Structures. Course Lab.
CORESLAB.
AB. Course Lab. And they're on Noah's Ark Road.
Noah's Ark.
And I'm gonna give you the number.
Oh, you
ready?
can you think you send to my email? My pen running out.
I can't send it to your email, Mr. Whitner.
I'm
You don't have
writing it
another
down for
pen.
you, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Austin is gonna write it down. So the
Thank you so
number is
much, Mr. Austin.
770-471-1150. And you can take the bus down Terra Boulevard and walk the 2 blocks over to Course Lab.
Okay, it's right down by the jailhouse, ain't it?
Right. They're right down, trying to think of the best, yeah, it's right at the corner of South Main across the railroad tracks on Noah's Ark Road. And the reason I'm giving you this, sir, is because sometimes you can, some of the best way to pull yourself up by your bootstraps is to use your hands. This is skilled labor where they're going to teach you how to do jobs. They'll start you with no experience in some of these jobs, but they'll teach you how to do some jobs where you can find a job doing this in other places. There's a bunch of companies I'm looking at who do the same thing, but I know they need people because every time I pass there's a bunch of signs outside saying they need somebody. You young and you strong, and if you have a full-time job, then maybe you can hit these GED classes on the weekend. I need to get you in the mindset of, and I appreciate that you like the classes and it's teaching you a different thing, but I need to get you in the mindset of winning. I need to get you in the mindset of doing the best in life. Do you have kids?
No, ma'am.
Good.
It's me.
Don't have none till you ready to have them. And that means until you're financially stable, until your housing is stable. And the reason I'm telling you about this job is because I know they have openings and I know you need a job. And this may be a transition for you into something better, okay?
In my life. Yes,
I'm not knocking serving or cooking, but if you're doing it part-time here and part-time there, that's not going to get it all together for you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So Mr. Austin is going to have that information. Mr. Austin, what was your recommendation in this case?
Your Honor, speaking with his probation officer, she just wanted to make light that, of course, the family violence intervention program is 6 months and that he was short on time. She would allow for him to continue on probation under original conditions, provide bi-weekly updates on his counseling, failure to comply with the counseling, he will have to return back to court for further action to be taken. And we're requesting that probation fees be waived.
Okay, so continue on probation, bi-weekly updates on counseling, probation fees waived, and that's it, right?
That's it. And we will let him know if, failure to comply with that, he'll be back. Further action will be taken.
Whitner, they are pulling for you. The probation officers,
I'm listening.
these are some of the most genuinely compassionate people I've ever met in my life. And they're pulling for you to do better. So I'm going to go ahead. If they believe in you, then I'm going to trust that. So I'm going to go ahead and order. I'll accept your stipulation to the technicals in this issue. You only have technicals, but I'm going to order that you will continue on probation. You will check in bi-weekly with your updates regarding your counseling, and then we're going to waive the probation fees, seeing as how you are trying to get your life together. But check out Course Lab and try and get a job where it's going to be more stable and you can get something full-time.
I might go up there soon as I get done with y'all.
All right.
When I get done with it, I might go straight back up, go up there, man. Thank you so much. Mr.
All right.
Austin, thank you, Mr. Wesley Taylor, and thank you, Judge Yarny.
And
Mr. Whitner, like I said, I want to get you in the mindset of winning, okay? Because you're
ma'am.
too young to just stop at this point.
Sometimes I do be feeling like giving up, but you like my classes, Mr. Vance. I love that. I love Mr. Vance. He tell me like why. Like he be telling me why. So do you think that gonna solve anything in your life? Or and you know he questions be hitting me so it bust a tear in my eye and everything. So it's questions that never been asked to me. So I'm thankful and blessed.
All right. Okay, then take care, Mr. Whitner, and I'll be checking in on you.
All right, thank you, man. Thank you so much, y'all.
All right, take care. All right, so I'm gonna send this over.
Mr. Taylor, you gonna want me to call you after this?
no, your probation officer should contact you.
All right. All right, y'all be good. Y'all be blessed.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right.
All right. All right, Mr. Word, we're gonna do yours next. I'm just trying to get this sent back over to probation.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. This is a matter of 2019 CR 04713.
Your Honor,
Yes.
there's one more case on the jail calendar. Woods.
Oh, Woods. I'm sorry. Can you bring out Woods, please?
Yes, Your Honor, she's ready.
Thank you.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good, Ms. Woods. Ms. Woods, you're before the court on raise your right hand for me. Solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. Ms. Woods, you're before the court on 2022 CR 05545. Brandy Michelle Woods, for no license. Mr. Kamani is representing you. Mr. Kamani has indicated you wish to enter a plea of guilty. By doing so, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to present testimony and evidence on your behalf. You give up the right to not incriminate yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, ma'am. On October 3rd, 2022, officers with Clayton County Sheriff's Department traveling on Terra Boulevard, southbound and Old Dixie Road, and they observed a orange vehicle that ran a red light. Officer initiated a traffic stop on the vehicle, identified the driver being Miss Woods. So, of course, in County, they did determine that she was not licensed to drive. This all occurred here in Clayton County. State's recommendation, this appears to be a second in 5 and 3rd in life. State's recommendation, she's been in custody since October 3rd. State accredited what time, sir?
All right. So Miss Woods, you're gonna be credited with time served, ma'am. But you gotta get your, if you're gonna drive, you gotta get your license straight. If you don't have a license, you don't drive. You clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I don't know what's keeping you from just going down to the DMV and standing in that line, but whatever it is, if you don't go do that and get a license, you don't drive.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can go back with the sheriff's office. All right, now, Mr. Word. Mr. Word, are you driving?
No, my son drive. I got an appointment this morning, man.
Okay, that's fine. Mr. Word, you before the court on yeah. All right, Mr. Word, you're before the court on 2019 CR 04713 for Theus Ladusky Word. You're before the court for 1 count of driving under the influence, count 2, open container, count 3, open container, count 4, learner's license violation, count 5, wrong side of the road, and count 6, reckless driving. Mr. Kamani, what does your client plead to the offenses before the court?
Your Honor, to count 1, he pleads guilty. Count 2, nolo. Count 3 is no pros. Count 4 is no pros. Count 5, nolo. Count 6 is no pros.
All right. So by entering a plea of guilty to count 1, driving under the influence, and count 2, nolo for open container, count 5, driving on the wrong side of the road, nolo, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis and recommendation, please. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm fighting sinuses or whatever's going on.
Yes, ma'am. On April the 7th of 2019, officers with the Clayton County Sheriff's Department were on general patrol in the area of Highway 85 near Duncan Street and Forest Park. As they approached the intersection, officers observed a vehicle traveling at a slow rate of speed southbound through the intersection and head on towards vehicles that were stopped at the intersection. Officers attempted to initiate a traffic stop, and prior to the vehicle making contact with their vehicle, officers did observe the driver's head, the driver to lift their head up from their chest and apply the brakes to their vehicle. Officers made contact with the driver and identified that driver being Mr. Word, the defendant. During the course of encounters, officers did smell the strong odor of alcoholic beverage coming from his breath and the interior of the vehicle. Officers asked him had he had anything to drink. He replied that he had not. He replied that he had not much to drink that evening. Officers did find inside the passenger compartment of the vehicle two glass bottles. One bottle was Ciroc vodka. The other was tequila. Officers were not able to conduct a field sobriety evaluations given that it was rainfall, and Mr. Word was confined to a wheelchair. Officers did ask if he would submit to a blood test after reading implied consent, to which he refused. This all occurred here in Clayton County. He was charged with the charges of the accusation and the state's recommendation to count 1, 12 months to serve 45 days. The balance is to be probated. He's complete 240 hours of community service. This is a second and 5. Excuse me, this is a first and 5, second in life, excuse me. The previous DUI was in 2015. It's a $1,000 fine. He's completed substance abuse evaluation and treatment should it be necessary. Submit to random testing. Partake in no drugs and alcohol during the course of probation. Complete a risk reduction program. Count 2 is a $200 fine. Count 3 and 4 being non-process. Count 5 is a $100 fine being suspended. And count 6 is being non-process. Initially, there was a request for an ignition interlock and 25 publication fee. Falls outside the 5-year window. So this be a second and 5 as opposed to statutorily required will be a second and 5.
Okay. All right, Mr. Word.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Word, you've had 2 brushes with the law regarding alcohol twice in your lifetime, but most people get through life without ever having an issue like this with alcohol. So, my fear, Mr. Word, is that you don't. I don't know if it's you don't take it seriously, or if you haven't acknowledged that you might have a problem.
I don't have.
Go ahead.
It was just in the back of the car, man. I'm like, I didn't mean to be in that car that day. My son had the car previous that Friday, I think. I don't know. And the bottles were back there, so I had no choice but the plea. Like I wasn't drunk. I don't even drink, man. Like like the time they giving me, like I'm sick right now. I'm on bed rest, and they got me going to infusion for iron. My iron so low that they trying to pump me back up, but they want me to turn in, I guess, to do the time. So they said they don't care about my health and what I'm going through. So
Mr. Word, you've had 2 DUIs lifetime, and they said in this case they couldn't even give you field exercises because they were afraid that you would hurt yourself trying to do them, but you don't drink?
No, I was in the wheelchair. He told me I get out in the rain, man. Like I'm in the wheelchair, man. Like I'm paralyzed and I'm in a wheelchair. So he telling me get out the car. I can't even move my legs. I got hand controls on the car and that's why I said no. So no, I couldn't do it. Like,
okay, that makes sense.
It was raining that day, just so hard. You can ask the deputy.
No, I mean wheelchair. You can't do a one leg stand if you're in a wheelchair. You can't do. Right. I mean, I'm clear. So
I was sober, like.
But Mr. Word,
yes,
this is what I'd say to you. You either have to be one of the unluckiest people to have 2 DUIs on your record, or something else is going on.
No, man, nothing going on. I just wrong place at the wrong time using the car, and I shouldn't use that car that day, and I got caught up with that in the back. And seat, like they had 2 bottles in the back seat. My son on previous that day, that night, whatever. So when I used the car, I didn't know they were back there until they reached back there and said, "It's like you had something back there."
Okay. All right. So, sir, I'm going to accept your plea of guilty to count 1 and NOLO to counts 2 and 5. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 45 days. How much has he done of the 45 days?
Your Honor, he says he's done 3 days.
3 days. Okay. So, Mr. Huh?
I'm about to verify that right now.
Please. How do you want to do the remainder of this 45 days, Mr. Word? Because we've had trouble finding you. You've missed at least 2 of my calendars.
Okay.
Mr. Word?
Yes, ma'am.
You've missed at least 2 of my calendars. How are we going to get these 45 days done?
When they say they called me, ma'am, they had dialed the wrong number. They said they didn't send them by mail. I didn't have my phone. I've been sick. I've been in and out the hospital, so I ain't have my phone. So I checked my Gmail and said, my city my lawyer had on email me. So, by the time I got to the email,
Mr. Word, we send everything out by mail. We probably the courts are probably the only people still using the mail. What are you talking about?
I didn't get nothing through mail, man. Like I swear to God, like
Did
I
you
didn't get
move?
nothing. No, ma'am. They said they called a number line 0386787. My number 444386787. Like it never changed.
Okay, Mr. Word. How are we gonna get these 45 days done, sir?
Yeah, he did 2 days in custody.
How are we gonna get these 43 days done, sir?
I got no choice but to turn myself in, man. Like if you don't,
You're gonna do straight time.
I gotta do the whole 45.
Yeah, 43. I give you credit for 2 days.
Okay.
Your Honor, he would like to turn himself in on November 4th.
Okay. All right, so you'll turn yourself in on Friday, November 4th at 6 p.m. and you will serve 43 days in the Clayton County Jail. Upon service of 43 days in the Clayton County Jail, you'll receive credit for having served 45 days. Balance will be probated so that you can attend a substance abuse evaluation and any treatment that they might order. You're to do 240 hours of community service. You'll pay a fine in the amount of $1,000. A $1,000 fine is going to be $1,420 with the surcharges. And you're to have no alcohol or illicit drugs. Now, I hear you're on an infusion. So there are medicines that are prescribed to you. That's fine. Don't have a problem with that. But you're not to take any drugs that are illicit, meaning not legally available to you. Right. And absolutely no alcohol. Right. And you're subject to screening for alcohol or drugs. Also on count 2, it's a NOLO plea. In exchange for that, the fine is going to be $200. That'll be $298 with the surcharges. I'm going to run that concurrent with count 1, meaning you'll be able to pay all of the fines and fees during your 12 months of probation. On count 5, it's a NOLO plea. The state and your attorney have agreed that will be a $100 fine, but that will be suspended. So as long as you complete all of the other terms and conditions of your probation, you will not have to pay the fine, the $100 fine. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you'll be turning yourself in, like I said, on November 4th at 6 p.m. If you are late, they will not accept you, and then they will let me know, and then a warrant will issue for your arrest. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I have a question.
Yes.
Mr. Word is in bench warrant status. Given that he is in bench warrant status and he's expected to turn himself in, we let the bench warrant stand?
No, we can lift the bench warrant because I'm gonna issue, if he doesn't turn himself in, I'm gonna issue a real warrant.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm turning myself in. Don't worry about that.
Okay, I'm not gonna worry about it, Mr. Word, because I'm not the one doing the time. See, I don't worry about stuff like this. I just handle things as they come to me. I don't worry.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, sir, I suggest between now and the 4th, you get yourself in order so that you can turn yourself in. And if you have medications that you need to bring with you to the jail, please make sure that you have a prescription to go with those medications. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you got to get your doctor to print you out a prescription to go along with the medications that you have, you need to do that.
All right.
All right. Anything else on behalf of Mr. Word, Mr. Kamani?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. I believe that concludes our
May I speak with him before he leaves, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Thomas. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'll stay on. Mr. Word, you're gonna speak with Mrs. Thomas. I'm gonna put you in breakout room number 6 with Mrs. Thomas. She's gonna explain everything that you need to know about your probation. So once you've done your 43 additional days, then she'll assist you with getting set up with probation. All right. So go into breakout room number 6. All right, so I'll wait for Ms. Thomas to come back out of the breakout room, and this should complete court. So I'll just wait for her to do her intake. Any questions? Anything else I need to be aware of?
Your Honor, I just have one question.
Yes, sir.
From yesterday's calendar. So Patrick Jones is to go to trial, and it's on November 15th, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, the bench warrant on Mr. Word, was it issued on September the 13th or September the 26th?
And you are asking me this because you think I remember?
I didn't know if you had the file in front of you or anything. I see 2 different dates in the system. I see it was requested on the 13th, but I see a
Well, sometimes
forfeiture on the
what happens
26th.
is when stuff comes off, it comes over to us, then I don't always get the like it doesn't always go back correctly. So I may try and sign it on one day, but then by the time y'all get it, y'all say, oh, the signature didn't attach or something. And then I'll try and resend it on another day to try and make sure the signature attaches. So I don't know which date y'all have.
I got you. Ms. Castaneda, do you have a copy of the warrant?
Yes, it was the 26th, Mr. Brooks.
9/26. All right, 9/26, 22, right?
Let me double check. Yes, 2022.
Thank you, man. Your Honor, this will be on the way to you.
All righty.
I'm back from the breakout room, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mrs. Thomas. And that will conclude our calendar for today. I'll be signing stuff, so send it to me. Thank you all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, bye-bye.